The desire for God is written in the human heart because man is created by God and for God, and God never ceases to draw man to himself. Only in God will we find the truth and happiness he never stops searching for. Everything in our life is constantly changing. Motivation comes and goes, happiness comes and goes, sadness comes and goes. The only constant in our life is God's love. When I was 12 years old, I started my porn addiction. I used to watch these motivational videos on Kobe Bryant and LeBron James and all these great athletes to get myself to change. I knew at 12 years old it was wrong, but I kept doing it over and over and over again. And after each video, I remember this vividly, I would always watch a motivational video because I hated who I was. I had this deep desire to change. I had this deep desire to be someone else. Live the life of Kobe Bryant, live the life of LeBron James, live the life of these amazing athletes because I wanted to change. I just didn't know how. That sent me down a path for 6 years on self-improvement, learning from the likes of Hamza, Andrew Tate, Iman Ghatzi, all these big self-improvement guys and leaders in our life. I went down a path. I started watching their content, and I had this deep desire to change. But I never changed until I found God's love. And we'll go more into that in a little bit. That desire to change naturally led me into entrepreneurship. I started selling candy in school, I started a landscaping company, I started an SMA company. Any business you can think of, I was in. From the start of 8th grade, I started trading stocks in school. I started selling candy here and there in my school, selling drinks. And I had this desire for entrepreneurship, this desire to make a lot of money. Just like everyone else in my lifetime, just like the people around me, I wanted to make a lot of money. And as you can imagine, nothing worked, nothing stuck. I almost got caught selling candy. A landscaping company shut down. My SMA company, I wasn't able to fulfill the orders. All these businesses I wasn't able to fulfill, and nothing was consistent in my life. Nothing was consistent, and nothing will ever be consistent in your life without God's love. If it's not drawn from God's love, nothing in your life can be consistent. I wish I could have told my younger self that instead of spending time on business, I would probably spend more time reading my Bible or reading Catechism of the Catholic Church. And if you're wondering how this is going to make sense, it will. Just this story makes sense in the future. Then in my high school journey, for 4 years in soccer, I scored over 100 goals, player of the year, 5 trophies in 4 years, 2 states, all these different accolades. And in my senior year, the last game of the season, I get a disgusting ankle sprain. So you know how your ankle kind of like rolls like that? Sometimes my ankle rolled inwards and it popped. So I thought I broke my ankle. There in the field, I was screaming and crying, curled up and yelling, I think I broke my ankle, I think I broke my ankle. And that led me down a path over the next few months of degeneracy. I fell into weed, I fell into alcohol, I fell into lust more than ever with different girls. I became a bigger liar, I got chubby, I got fat. I hurt people around me, my mother, my ex-girlfriends, my best friend, my father, everyone who was around me I hurt. Because my identity was in something that could change. My identity was all in soccer, all in entrepreneurship. And with entrepreneurship, when something goes bad, then it hurts you, it hurts your ego. Especially when soccer went wrong, when I couldn't play soccer, when I couldn't exercise. And all my identity was in there. That is when I lost myself. That is when I lost who I was, because who I was in something that could change. You get it now? You get how this connects to God's love, how everything connects to God's love in the main message. While I was injured, I kept falling into lust, day in, day out, and either with girls or with porn, one of the two, but I just kept falling into lust. It was heartbreaking. I remember that one day I came back home from falling into lust with my girlfriend, and I said hi to my mom. I walked past her. She was just making food or something. And I go into my room, close the door, and I just cry into my pillow. But not like tears, like small tears, like disgusting crying, like wailing, like someone in my life had died. And it's true because part of me died that day, falling into lust. Every single time I fell into lust, part of me died. Part of my soul died. And It was awful. I was screaming, crying. I had to scream into a pillow so my mom wouldn't hear me. That's how bad it was. And I smile and I look back at it because it just reminds me of God's love. Reminds me that no matter how hard I tried, I myself couldn't take myself out of that. I myself couldn't change. I myself couldn't be consistent in business without God. I'm going to leave you with one message that changed my life, and that found God's love, that took me away from my porn addiction, that got me the woman of my dreams, that made me consistent in business more than ever. And also, maybe the most fulfilled, most happiest, most present version of myself ever. Giving it up to God. I was fed up with myself. I was pissed off that I kept falling into lust day in, day out, day in, day out. I would have cycles of, suppression where I would stop and I would feel good about myself, and then I would fall back in and I would hate myself and I would get motivated. Just that constant cycle for 6 years. Same thing with business. Failing. Never able to be consistent. Same thing with the gym. Never able to be consistent. Until I gave it up to God. Until I went to those around me, apologized, and gave up my goals, gave up my lust. Gave it all to God because I knew He was the only thing that could save me. He was the only person. His love was the only aspect in my life that could change me, because it's the only constant in our life. Motivation comes and goes, sadness comes and goes, happiness comes and goes, but God's love is the only constant in our life. Right now, for the first time ever, I have the most successful business ever in my life. I'm consistent with recording. I'm consistent with uploading. I'm consistent with my prayer life. I have the woman of my dreams. I'm going to be taking a fight in 2 months from now. Everything. I feel full. I'm helping people. I'm mentoring people, getting them closer to God. I am exactly the man I wanted to be because I found God's love and I gave up my problems to God. I hope you can do the same and feel the happiness and fullness that I feel. Let it be God's will and not mine.